All right, so our most amazing neighbors ever just left. It's nice to have them gone. Can't believe they just left a bunch of trash. You're not supposed to burn pallets because they have nails in them, first of all. And secondly, you're not supposed to just leave trash in the woods. What's up, guys? Jesse here with Adventure Endeavor, and it's been a heck of a few days. It's been great for the most part. We're here camping in the National Forest with our friends, and we're just outside Colorado Springs. Lincoln is napping, Hudson's kind of napping, and I have him here. So I decided I would take this time to go ahead and try to do a little bit of a rant slash proper camping etiquette. I am by no means a professional. We have been full-timing for 5 years, and we almost exclusively boondock. And you guys know, if you follow our channel at all, you know that we love national forest and BLM land because you can camp for free. But on the other hand, you have to take care of the land. You have to pack out what you bring in. And there's kind of certain etiquette that goes along with camping in the national forest. We recently had some neighbors, and it seemed like they, I don't want to say broke rules, but they kind of just did not have great etiquette or any etiquette whatsoever. So I'm going to kind of show you the scenario. I'm going to try to film it in a way to show you the way that they came into the area, the way that they parked, and then kind of show you some of the things, or talk about some of the things that they did that we were not super stoked on. We didn't say anything because we just didn't feel like having an altercation. I mean, we have 2 kids. They seemed slightly unstable, potentially. And yeah, that's just the way we went about it. We just kind of went on with our lives and just made do. Luckily, they seem like weekend campers, and they're just here for a couple days. All right, guys, so let's start off this way. You can see the main road over here. Here's our road that comes up to our camp. There's some spots over here, and over the weekend there's 2 campers in here. And then these are our friends Hannah and Keel. This is us here. We parked opposite directions. We used an existing fire ring that is in the area right here. And then this is the spot over here where we had our neighbors. They pulled in like this. So they pulled in this road right here. You can actually see their tracks. They had a 35-foot fifth wheel. They spun around in this direction, which is totally fine. This area is all open and free. I would have assumed they would have used this campfire over here because we had a previous neighbor at this campfire, and you know, you could back in here or you can pull in here and have the campfire on either side. You can see their tire marks right here. And basically, they pulled in right here. Their pickup truck was probably about here. And at the time, I had the Jeep parked right here. So their pickup truck was basically, I'd say about 3 feet from the Jeep. They left it hitched up, which is fine. And then they had their trailer in this orientation here. So for me personally, that's just a little close. It's just about being respectful of your neighbors. And if you look at this spot, if they would have parked similar to us, there's plenty of room for everybody. Like I said, we had a neighbor over here. They were happy, we were happy, everybody was good. That was kind of strike number 1 for us. So first of all, they parked way too close in my opinion. It was actually hard for me to get my vehicle out. And like I said, they were 3 feet from the Jeep, too close. Secondly, and this is a big one for me, they made a new fire ring. I don't know if you can tell, there's one over there by us, which, you know, was probably too close for them to use. There's another one over there that's partially built. And there's a real nice one over here. Over here. So literally in between our 2 trailers, there's 3 fire rings. They deconstructed one and made one over here that suited their needs, which to me is a big deal because what you don't realize is when you move a fire pit, typically there are nails from pallets, which you shouldn't be burning in the forest anyways. And then the problem is you get these smaller fire rings that slowly get destroyed from wind and water and people constantly moving them. And then what's left? A bunch of ash, a bunch of trash, and a bunch of nails. That's the big thing. And it's hard to tell, but like, look, there's one right here that was left over. There's one right here that's partially. There's one by us, but that one's still like pretty intact. But it's hard to tell in this area. There's just a ton of fire pits. So it's like, why do you need to make a new fire pit? Here's another big thing for us. First and foremost, they left a pallet here. First of all, you should not be bringing pallets into the desert, the forest, any public land. If you want to burn pallets, burn them at your house. Keep them in your fire pit. Because look at all these nails. Now, not only are there nails, but it just got left here. So like they didn't burn it fully. So they're like, oh, we're just going to leave it here. This nice, beautiful area. And they just leave a pallet here. They broke some of it up. And for some reason, chucked it behind their trailer. Left that here. So now guess who gets to deal with this mess? This guy. Unfortunately, we're going to cut it up. We are going to burn only the pieces that have no nails in it, and then we'll do our best to get rid of the rest of it. Terrible etiquette. Do not burn pallets. Get real firewood or get a propane fire pit if you can't handle getting real firewood. Now look at this. There's eggshells. There's cigarette packs, half burnt, cigarette butts, wet wipes, the International Delight coffee packs in there. And then on top of that too, look, there's just cigarette butts all freaking over the place. Trash left everywhere. It's just, look, cigarette butt. It's just nasty. It's just a nasty thing to do to, you know, build a new fire pit, leave a pallet, leave trash. This is what gets our places closed down. So here is another big no-no for me, in my opinion. Off-leash dog. I'm not necessarily always against off-leash dog. We let ours off-leash, but what we like to do is we like to talk to our neighbors and say, hey, our dog's pretty good off-leash. Would you like our dogs to meet so there's no altercations? If one of our dogs is not good on leash, this or that, we can put them on leash. I'm sorry. If one of them's not good off leash, and you know, you're kind of like a small community out here, and there should be a mutual respect. Remember, their trailer was here. Our trailers are here. It was probably about 3 to 4 times, and their dog that was probably 60 pounds, it was kind of like a border collie type mix, came all the way over here into our camp multiple times. So the dog was all over in our kind of like courtyard here. And to me, that's just not cool. You never come over to our camp. You never introduce yourself. You don't introduce the dogs properly. You just let your dog wander into our camp multiple times to where we literally had to tell the dog to go home. We had to bring the dog back to your camp. You know, our dog's small, could potentially, you know, get attacked by a larger dog. Our friends have a big dog that likes to, you know, protect their child, which is like a good thing within the constraints of the camp. So it just could have been really, really bad. Luckily, it wasn't. Luckily, their dog was actually pretty cool, pretty chill. But in my opinion, that's still no excuse to just let your dog go off leash, poop and pee and do whatever you want. And then, of course, they just kept yelling after their dog occasionally and never like coming to get their dog. They're just like, rah, rah, rah. These are a couple personal things. I would say that these are a couple of the reasons, in a sense, you know, that you may want to go boondocking, you may want to be out in the boonies. And that is the freedom and the flexibility. Okay, I understand that. That's why we love it. But all I'm saying is there should be a little bit of etiquette and there should be a little bit of respect to an extent, you know. So when they first rolled in, like I said, you know, we're here. The Jeep was right here. And then they're right here. Like I'm talking, their front porch is probably 20 feet from our trailer. We have a little kid who is in the mood of repeating everything he hears, and we just weren't super stoked on a lot of their language, which, hey, it's a free country. You can do what you want. That's what's great about being out here in the woods, but have a little courtesy. That's all we're saying. You know, we have a little kid. Maybe that's a pet peeve for us. Maybe that doesn't bother anyone else, but you're this close. Try to have a little courtesy. Also, same thing with music. They rolled in, they had the music blaring, and they had it blaring pretty late, and they had it blaring pretty early. Like I said, I know it's not a campground and they're not set hours per se, but it's just a common courtesy thing. Like, we're all out here to enjoy nature in our own way. If you want to blare music in the middle of the day, totally cool. But, you know, if you want to go pretty late into the evening or early in the morning, that's where it just gets a little bit annoying and just not respectful. Another thing that we didn't enjoy was their pallet, you know, that they broke up and left there. They started taking an axe to it at 5:45 in the morning. I was already up. I get up early with Hudson, so that wasn't a big deal for me. But, you know, had Lincoln been woken up, or Melissa, she was woken up, it's just like, why do you got to do that so early in the morning? Like, even 7 is like fine. Like, still early for a lot of people, and it was a weekend. Like, we're both not working right now, so it's like totally fine. But it's just these common courtesy things that go a long way, and obviously for people, for us to them, but also like the forest. Like, a common courtesy is, you know, don't leave trash, don't make new fire pits, respect your neighbors, respect the outdoors, kind of stuff like that. Leave no trace. They're leaving a lot of traces. So I don't really know what I expect out of this video. To be completely honest, I just felt like I needed to tell more people than my wife and my friends. Hopefully spread the message a little bit. You guys know that we do a lot of cleanup on public lands. We've done our own cleanup before. We do our best to walk around and pick up trash at every area. We've joined multiple large cleanup efforts. And it's just a shame because stuff is constantly getting closed, and it's literally because of people like this. Take it as you will. Recently, they closed an area called Government Wash over by Lake Mead, and that's a bummer because it was a really cool spot. It was close to Vegas, great desert camping, but too many people just kind of, first of all, moved in there and just kind of live there way too long, and they don't respect the 14-day rule. And also, they just leave trash. And the BLM and the National Park Service over there, unfortunately, they do not want to enforce the rules. So they just let it get really bad, or it's uncontrollable, and then they just close the area. And I gotta tell you, once an area is closed, it's very hard to get it back open. Sometimes they'll close it for a year, clear everything out, kind of make it more like designated dispersed, which we're okay with. But lots of times they just never open it again, or they say day use only. So if they would just enforce the 14-day law, if they would just make people pick up their trash, kick people out, stuff like that, these places wouldn't get so bad to where it's can't be controlled. It happened in Sedona, and now there's like 3 or 4 little turnouts where you can camp, where it used to be beautiful forest and it was all dispersed, and you can go into all these different areas. And yes, it's the people, but also the government should not just be closing areas because they don't know what to do. What you do is you enforce the existing rules. 14 days, pack it out, pack it in, whatever rules are on the board when you're there. That's it. It's that simple, in my opinion. End of rant. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please let us know what you think in the comments. Do you have any pet peeves? Do you think we were being out of line? Do you think we should have said something to them? We did our best to just kind of mind our own business, do our own thing, because the forest is for everybody, but just kind of curious about your thoughts. Here is just one more shot. They could have been camped right here, this beautiful area, given everybody space, not made a new fire ring in the middle of the area, and yeah, just bummed about the whole thing.